Hello, not a lot to talk about this week, so hopefully this will be short. But we're gonna start with our Pearl of Wisdom. We are at number 4, and I'm not gonna translate those because I realize how bad I am to at translating on camera. But basically, this one is about giving to other people, giving to your community, giving to people around you, giving freely without expecting anything in return. And that's a very interesting and the most important point. When you are generous, when you are a good person, you are generous, you give to other people. And of course, I'm not only talking about possessions, object, things, or money. I'm talking about time too. I think this is the most important thing we could give others. When you listen to other people, when you are there for other people, when you give your time, you help people move. That's the worst thing. Like, I hate moving, but moving from place to place, right? Not moving my body, though, I do have a hard time doing it lately. But when you help people move, or when you help people in any ways, giving your time, giving your energy, giving yourself, or giving things too. Things are great, and money, those are great. But I like the idea of giving freely and not expecting anything in return. This is what makes you feel good inside. It's the idea that the act of giving is on itself enough of a return, or it's on itself enough for you to feel great. And it does feel great whenever you give freely, like, giving to people who are in need freely without expecting anything in return. It does feel good. So this week, let's think about this, giving freely to other people, and the desire of helping others. That's very good, very, very good. Okay, so this is the Pearl of Wisdom for the week. I am also gonna pull a card, well, not pull a card, but I want to do this journey with you, the Intuitive Whisper Oracle journey. Let's do this together. And instead of putting a card a day, because I'm not gonna make a video a day, let's take a card every week and reflect on it. So that's for the end of the video. But now we're gonna talk about books, because I've mostly read books with my free time this week. And the first book, well, there's only 2, and one I haven't finished yet. But the 2 books I want to talk about is... Oh no, there was another book I've read very quickly. It was a French-Canadian feminist essay. I've read it. I have nothing positive to say. No, it's not true. There was some positive things, but it's not a good book. So I'm not gonna talk about that one. Read Bell Hooks instead. Read Bell Hooks. She's amazing. Okay. A novel I wrote, a novel I read this week is Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy. So you probably heard of this book before, because Jeanette McCurdy, she's very popular. I haven't read her memoir called I'm Glad My Mom Died. I haven't read it. So this was my first contact with her writing, and I loved it. I loved it so much. This is such a good book. So it's the story of Waldo. She's 17. She falls in love with her professor, her teacher, and he is twice her age, and he's married, and it's complicated, and so I've heard people saying this is kind of a reversed Lolita in the way that we are in her head. But I don't agree at all. I think Lolita, the whole point of Lolita is that she's a child and she's not into it at all. He's making stuff in his mind. She's not seductive. She's just a child. And yeah, so, I think it's a misconception of Lolita. It is an unreliable narrator, and to a point, Waldo is an unreliable narrator. Actually, on the opposite, and maybe I'm telling too much about myself here. Maybe it's too much information, but I did relate to Waldo a lot. I was this teenager who had a bad father, a weird relationship with my mother. At the time, I have a great relationship with her now, but at the time, as a teenager, living with my mother, it was weird. I didn't felt supported, and so I was this teenager falling in love with mature men, and so in a way, and also I was a teenage boy. I was sexually, I don't want to say active. Well, I guess masturbation count as active, but I wasn't having sex with anyone because I was gay, and in the 90s in high school. So there was that too. But since I had daddy issues, I was really into older men, and so I think every single year of high school, I fell in love with one of my teachers. And so there was that. And so in a way, I do relate to this character. That being said, as a 43-year-old man, I am so grateful that nothing ever happened. Like, it would have destroyed me. And this is what we witness in this book, is how a relationship like that can destroy you. Actually, Waldo entered this relationship already broken. And it's so interesting. This book is very well written, and it's so interesting to, be in her head. The girl who wants this relationship, and yet if you are someone who reads a lot, someone who can read, you have this separation from her. So we are in her head and we understand her motivation and her feelings, and yet as adults we can see the manipulation she's victim of. We can see how bad this relationship actually is for her and also for him. But, he's the adult. He shouldn't be here. So, and it's also fascinating the way the book ends. Like, I don't want to give away too much, but she was broken at the beginning of the book. She entered that relationship broken, and the relationship didn't repair her, if that makes sense. So I don't want to give away too much, but it's fascinating. It's a fascinating book. I really, really liked it. I know there's a lot of criticism online, But I mean, I don't want to be the guy who said, "Oh, you didn't get it." No, you can get it and still not like it. That's valid. But I've heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's just smut." That's what I heard. It's smut with a minor and her teacher. And that I cannot agree with. There's nothing erotic in this book. There are sex scenes. They are not meant to make you aroused. They are meant to make you not cringe. I don't want to use this word, but it's uncomfortable. It's meant to make you uncomfortable. It's meant to make you, yeah, I guess I'll say it, cringe. It's, it's very uncomfortable. It's so, and it's fascinating. It's a very good book. And the writing, she used Jeanette McCurdy, she used metaphor, she used callbacks in so smart ways. I really admire her writing. I think it's brilliant, and it's a very good book. So there you go. So this is not erotica. Absolutely not. I feel like people think that because there are sex scenes in the book, that means it's erotica. And I cannot disagree more. Like, the intention is everything. Here, the intention is clearly to make you uncomfortable. Unlike another writer whose intention was to make you very comfortable and even aroused. The writer, this is not the book I'm talking about, but the writer is Emmanuel Arsan. This is a biography. If you don't know, so the title is, I'm sorry, it's a French book. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I want to talk about this because I really loved it. I'm loving it. I'm halfway through. Oh no, third way through. So, Emmanuel Arsan, biographie d'un pseudonyme. So, Emmanuel Arsan, biography of a pseudonym. Because Emmanuel Arsan is the French writer who, this is her, she's beautiful, and she is the author of Emmanuel, the book that eventually was adapted in a movie, in cinema, in a movie called Emmanuel, and you know her, right? The French slut. You know Emmanuel. So it became almost a parody of erotica. Like, it became this myth that the book was not really about. And if you've read the book Emmanuel, and this is something you can read in English. It was translated. It is also on Audible. I saw it in English. The book is brilliant. So it is erotica. There's a lot of very sexy erotic scenes. And so there's that. But there's also, the scenes are used as a way to communicate the author's philosophy, which is the disconnection of pleasure, not pleasure and love. She actually, on the opposite, she was really into pleasure and love, loving people in general. Her husband, of course, but she was in an open relationship with her husband, and they both had that philosophy. And we are talking about a woman who lived, she was born in the 1920s, if I'm correct. I think they got married in the 50s. Anyway, so we're talking about a woman who was sexually opened, psychologically open, with an open mind, open marriage, in the 50s, and she was writing about that. And the book Emmanuel, which is actually two books. It's one book, but it was split into two. And it's about that. It's about her philosophy, how she she loved sex, she loved pleasure, and she loved her husband. And it's very interesting. I remember reading this book when I was a teenager. I was maybe I was a little bit too young, but I remember reading this book. And you don't have to agree with the philosophy, but when you finish the book, you close the book, and you're like, okay, what do I want? What do I want in a relationship? You know, and it's so good. It's books that makes you think. That's amazing. Also, she's a feminist icon, even though at the time, she didn't call herself a feminist because she didn't like the feminism movement at the time. But she was a feminist. She just, she just didn't associate herself with feminist group, the vocal feminist of the time. But she was a feminist, absolutely. And she's famous for writing to the Pope. I don't know what Pope it was. It was Paul VI. I don't know. I think the first name was Paul. Pope Paul. She wrote a letter in defense of the pills. Also, she wrote a lot of essays, feminist essays, news articles, and a lot of novels, a lot of fiction too. So she was very active. And this book is so good because Camille Moreau definitely admire Emmanuelle Arsan. She definitely admire her. She definitely read her a lot, and the biography is so interesting because it's intertwined with quotes from all of her books, but even books that was published later. So the author Camille Moreau, she took quotes from different books, thinking, okay, that illustrates this part of her life, So it's a huge work, and it's fascinating. It's such a good read. I'm sorry, this book is in French, but if you cannot read this book, I highly recommend you read Emmanuel. It's two books. I think it's Emmanuel, and then Emmanuel the Anti-Virgin. I don't know the titles of the books in English, but it's Emmanuel, and it was one book, but it was split in two. So read the two first books. That's that's the point of this. Also, I've read a little bit. I am going through slowly but surely through Anne Sexton complete poems. I'm still in the first collection, so I'm taking my time, but I'm delighted by her words and the poems. So that's happening. So last thing I want to go to is the intuitive whisper. Okay, so I'm gonna start this. I know at least one person was interested by this, so we're gonna do it. We're gonna go through the whole journey. I'm not gonna read the full guidebook entry for each card, because I feel like, if you want it, you should buy the deck, But I am gonna give you a little parts and little tidbits of it. And I think the book is very good, very interesting. We are starting with the first card. It's a red card. So the red suit. Oh, I don't have it. I thought it was there. Okay, so the first suit, The red suit is listening, guiding you back to stillness so you can listen to the wisdom of the silence. These cards are red to represent the root chakra, the area of the body that allows you to feel grounded and safe. So these are the first 11 cards. And the first card is slow down. So I encourage you this week to slow down. Yes, take your time. Why don't you, if you work, why don't you, and I know, not everybody can do that, but why don't you show up at work in advance? So you're not rushed to start working. Okay, I just show up at work and then I start working. Why don't you show up early? Read a book, maybe have a coffee, take your time, relax, meditate before you start working. Slow down. I love this idea of slowing down. And yeah, maybe meditate, or maybe if it's not before you get to work, maybe it's at home before you start your day. Just take few minutes closing your eyes and breathing deeply. And I love this sentence here that conclude the entry for this card in the guidebook. It says, live rebelliously slow. So yeah, in a world, and I am someone who's very stressed out. And when I'm a gay man, when I walk on the street, I walk. Like, get out of my way if you're not walking on my pace. So, I'm walking fast. That's what I mean. So, yes, why not take our time? Why not take it slow this week? I encourage you to do it. If you do it, let me know in the comments. And next week, I'll come back to this card and then I'll read the next one. Let's take our time this week. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.